Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco. Today, just Norwich for you in the final game of the season. After that, we'll talk about the team and our plans for next season and things like that. But today, it's just the Norwich game coming up. Since you were last here, we only played 2 games. It was once Stoke, obviously, in the third round of the Carabao Cup. Let's scroll down to where it was. Since you were last here, when we lost to Chelsea 4-1 and Man United 3-0, we beat West Ham 4-2, scoring 2 goals very early on. Then they scored 2 goals very early on to reply. Then Jesus Jimenez scored in the 25th minute to sort of break the deadlock a little bit. And then Angel Gomez sealed the win in the 80th minute with a lovely finish to make it 4-2. And then we played Stoke, who are fighting. Well, they are survived now. They are properly out of the relegation zone now, but we played them, won 4-0, Jesus Jimenez scoring himself a hat-trick with Facundo Vieira scoring late on the 93rd minute to secure the win and getting himself another goal. He's been a really, really class player this season, and he's a player we'll talk about later on in terms of transfers and things like that as well. What those 2 wins mean for the table is that we stay currently in 8th place, as you can see here, 3 points behind Swansea on 64 points. So if Swansea slip up today, however, we need a 9-goal swing for that to happen, basically, because they're on plus 27 goal difference, we're on plus 18. So I don't think we're going to overtake Swansea, and then Tottenham are 4 points behind us, so we can't be overtaken by Tottenham. So 8th place is probably where we're going to finish this season. However, this isn't interesting, really. That's not interesting whereabouts we finish and things like that. What's more interesting is that Man United could lose a title for the first time in a long time. The first season that we've done this save on, they won it, and then they won it for the next 4 seasons. Then Man City won it, but then Man United won it past 2 seasons. This could be the first time in this save that a team not from Manchester is going to win the title, and more importantly, not Manchester United again. They are second right now, and if Arsenal lose and they win, then Man United will win it again. But it looks like Arsenal could actually go and win their first title for a bloody long time. At the other end of the table then, if we look here, we play Norwich today. They're on 33 points. They could go down, as could West Brom if Middlesbrough win their game against Derby. Middlesbrough and Derby play, but they play tomorrow because Middlesbrough have had a weird sort of season, basically. Last season, or season before last, they got promoted. Then last season they finished 6th in the Premier League, managing to get in the Europa League. And then this season they're finishing down in the relegation zone. They're looking to try and avoid relegation. At the same time, though, because they qualified for the Europa League, they did amazingly well and they got to the semi-finals and lost to Lazio in the semi-finals of the Europa Cup. So it's a weird one for Middlesbrough, but I'm interested in seeing that story. But they don't play until tomorrow because they had that Europa League game like 2 or 3 days ago. So they play Derby tomorrow. So we will hold on to see who does actually get relegated. And hopefully, who do I want to get relegated? I'd rather see Norwich go down because they're a bogey team for us. They seem to do quite well against us. So I'd rather see Norwich go down, I reckon. Right, this is the lineup for today's game. Reynolds starts in goal with a back four of Marseillaise, Kobayashi, Benteke and Johnson. Jalapeno and Pandolfi start in the middle. Gomez and Lukasic on the wings with Diaz in the central midfield attacking role. Jesus Jimenez starts up front as that target man because, of course, Hammer Time's still injured. And Liam Coyle got injured as well a little bit, so he's out of the squad. And that's why Diaz comes in with playing that attacking midfield formation. Right, kickoff is upon us for the last time this season then. And I think we can all agree it's been a pretty good season for us. At the moment, as you can see, sitting in 8th place, it's going to be our highest ever finish ever in anything, so that's pretty good, of course. Last season we came 11th actually on 50 points last season. To improve on that tally by 12 points so far, we could go up to 14 points if we win today's game. So to improve by that much this season is pretty impressive, I think, I've got to say. And of course, if we have that kind of improvement next season as well, then you could argue Champions League is not too far out the question. Of course, we're in Europe next season as well. We won the League Cup, which puts us in, it's either the 2nd or 3rd qualifying round. So we've still got a few qualifying rounds to go through. So that'll be in pre-season more next year. So I think we'll probably do those episodes. I think we'll show those games because it's interesting, exciting. It's the first time that Lincoln are ever going to be in a European competition. And of course, I want to take you on that journey with Lincoln, of course, as Kobayashi, his clearance is rubbish and Reynolds makes a decent save there. Norwich nearly gifted a goal completely. They've not been bad this game. They've been fairly even in the stats, apart from possession, of course, where we've been fairly dominant. They've had some decent shots and things like that. So they're doing all right so far, old Norwich. They've got another corner now, do Norwich, and they've put it in and Roberts just flicks it up. And apparently Lukasic's pulled ankle ligaments, which may mean he has to come off at half-time or something like that. We've also made a few decent transfers this season in terms of letting players go for good amounts of money and bringing in cheaper, better replacements and things like that. So we've done pretty well with that kind of thing. Of course, we vastly overspent on Benteke in the summer, spending £40 million on him. He wasn't worth 40 million, but at the time, he was the only sort of defender that really wanted to come in. That was his kind of quality, and so I kind of felt it all right to spend that kind of money on him. We had the money in the bank to spend, so it was fine by me. And of course, because we're such a small club and we have such a small wage budget, basically, the TV money we get is so profitable for us. We don't spend nearly as much wages as we get back in TV money, so we do make quite a bit of money because of that. So we can afford to spend like a big 40 million and things like that. I think as we start to progress more and more, and we start to spend more and more on wages and things like that, that may change in the future, of course. We'll have to rely on commercial things a little bit more and things like that, and that may be a bit trickier for a club like Lincoln. But as the way things are going at the moment, I'm pretty happy with the whole development of the club. The way the wages are going, that's really, really nice. We keep a real tight budget, which means we can spend money, of course, on players. I don't want to spend a lot of money on each player in terms of wages. If a player comes in and wants £100,000 a week, he's not going to the club, because I'm not going to pay him £100,000 a week when the most we pay on a player, I think the most we pay on a player is 60,000 perhaps, but I could be lying to you, I'm not sure. If it's not 60,000, it's definitely like 45, 50,000 or so, but I don't want to have a massive increase in wages in terms of like £100,000 for a player, because then other players are going to start demanding that, and I want to keep a tight control on the wage budget so we can continue to make profit and things like that. As Lacasic comes very, very close to scoring opening in this second half. I mean, it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment so far, and actually, annoyingly, Man United have leapfrogged Arsenal in the league as well. What is going on there? That is what I'm more interested about. They're losing 3-1 to Swansea. They're losing 3-1 to Swansea while Man United win 1-0. They're going to win the league. I didn't want that. I wanted Arsenal to win it. I was backing Arsenal the entire way. And now they've gone absolutely thrown it away on the last day of the season. As if you can see in the background there, Norwich came very close to scoring. Of course, it doesn't mean we can move anywhere. We're going to be in 8th anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Of course, though, if we don't win today, then it does mean that Middlesbrough are definitely relegated. So the bogey team of Norwich will continue to be in our leagues. And I can just see them going a 90th minute goal now, Norwich. I can just see them scoring really late on. Diaz on the ball then for us, puts it out towards Gomez. Gomez cuts inside to middle. Lacasic is there. Lacasic gets the breakthrough goal that we kind of want to secure Middlesbrough's safety. Middlesbrough just have to beat Derby in the next game then, if results stay like this, for them to be saved. I'd rather see Norwich go down than Middlesbrough go down personally, but that's just my personal preference, because Norwich are a bogey team. They've beaten us nearly every time we've played them. We've played them quite a bit, actually. We've got a chance to come forward now, once again, the 80th minute with Jesus Jimenez. Passes it through to Brahim Diaz. Gomez back into Lacasic, and Lacasic should have finished that. He should have put that easily into the back of the net, but he's somehow not. Let's look at the updates again. How are Arsenal doing? They're still 3-1 down. United now 2-0 up. It's all but gone now for Arsenal. Man United have won the league again, which is very, very boring. Arsenal came very, very close, obviously, as we saw before this, but they've lost on the last day of the season. Absolute bottle jobs. Cannot win the league. Still pretty much similar to how they are in real life right now. They're coming forward once again, though, are the old Lincoln faithful, and Diaz comes forward with the ball, loses it, though, and now Norwich have a chance to come forward, though. Benteke makes a decent interception then. Lacasic gets past his man. Lacasic coming forward into Jesus Jimenez. Jimenez shots from distance, hits the crossbar. And that was a good chance that's gone begging there. There's been a lot of chances in this game. We've had 23 shots, there 15. It's been end-to-end football, this. I'm surprised there's not been more goals as Jimenez comes forward and once again is saved by the goalkeeper. And there we go, Lincoln 1, Norwich 0. We've won our final game of the season, which is very, very nice. Gary Neville, Phil Neville, whatever you call, just do a team talk. He's got nothing specific to note right now. No one really cares with that. So we finish 8th this season, which is a lovely place to finish, actually. I think that's a really, really respectable result, and where we finished, of course. Lacasic out for 9 days, which isn't too bad. Man United win the treble, of course, because they win trebles all the time or something like that. Gomez shines, and someone was looking at Jesus Jimenez apparently. So I want to see how much money we've won. I didn't check actually before the game how much money we get. We must get upwards of 20 million for this, I think, surely. Although maybe we don't find out till tomorrow actually, until the Derby game, Derby Middlesbrough game is played. So we'll just wait until then. We'll see how much money we get, see if they do a transfer budget thing, and then we'll talk about the plans for next season. Well, end of season awards, this is what the fans seem to say. 75% of people think Hammer Time is the fans' player of the season, so that's pretty cool. Angel Gomez and Diaz in second and third, but minimal percentages. Pandolfi is the goal of the season, apparently against Derby. I reckon I know which one it is, actually. I reckon it's his wonder strike from miles away, which is pretty cool. It won't let me click on anything, though, to see it. It just takes me to Derby and things like that, so I would show you it, but it won't let me see it, so I'm sorry. Signing of the season, Benteke for 40 million. Fair play. He has been solid all season, so I'll give him that. And then, of course, Hammer Time, young player of the season, is probably quite justified there, of course. He scored 33 goals in all competitions, 7.52 rating, 7 player of the match awards. Angel Gomez keeping up with assists on 16 there, and Liam Cole with the best pass completion, of course. I don't know why that's an important stat, but it is apparently. Initial budgets of 93 million to spend, and £850,000 per week. That is delightful. Now let's get into the finances then. So 93 million to spend, which is great, and then we've got another nearly £130,000 to spend per week. I don't think that's changed actually too much. I think that's stayed the same from the previous season. We've not got any prize money and things coming in yet, so that money will go up, and of course I'm not going to spend more than what we've already got actually. So we may not spend 93 million, of course, but you know, that'd be nice. Apparently the board are upgrading youth and training facilities. They've been doing this every season for the past few years now, and it's getting annoying actually, because it's just not being upgraded basically. If we keep looking at this, improved training facilities is now going to be, it's now going to be done in 2025 actually. Before that little thing there, it did say it was going to be done in like 2026, both youth and training, so that's quite good. Obviously the new stadium comes not next season afterwards, so a lot of things to look forward to in this pipeline. Unfortunately, Derby beat Middlesbrough, which means that they were both relegated. So Norwich stay up, Middlesbrough go down despite reaching the Euro Cup semi-finals. So an interesting season for Middlesbrough, of course. That does mean that we get £25 million, nearly £26 million for achieving 8th place in the Premier League, and the squad get a nice £800,000 to be shared between them. Right, let's look at the squad then and what we want to do next season, of course. Now, in terms of transfers, we'll go through position by position and see what I'm talking about here, basically. So Hammer Time, I'm very happy with in the striker. Jesus Jimenez, also very, very good. Facundo Vieira is a player that's valued at 17 million now. He's just gone down a little bit actually since last episode, I think. He's played very well this season, but if you look at his reports, he's only ever going to be as good as Jesus Jimenez, and he's never going to be better than Hammer Time. So I feel like if someone comes in and offers me £17 million for him, he's gone out the door. I'm happy with selling him for that kind of money. So Facundo Vieira could go. On that left-hand side, Angel Gomez has been really good this season. I'm going to keep him. He should be pretty decent. If we get a work permit for this guy, then we'll keep him. If not, then we'll sell him. He's a guy that we brought in January. We did a bit of mass buying of players that didn't get work permits, and I thought we could, and thought they could play in the under-23, but they couldn't. So a lot of them are probably going to have to leave, I think. In the AMC position then, Brahim Diaz has been really good this season, to be fair. He's got a really good rating, 7.31 over 31 games, 10 assists, 4 goals. He's been pretty decent, but he's only 2.5-star current ability and is not going to improve, so I feel like we do need an improvement there. It's a similar thing on the right-hand side. Adrian Lacazette, we all love him to bits, but Hammer Time and Angel Gomez could do as good of a job there as, you know, he could. So I feel like he's a player that we need to improve on. He's not improved much this season. He's barely improved this season. He's still only a championship quality player. So we'll keep him at the club. He's had a poor season compared to last year. Very, very poor. So I think he is the man that we need to sort of replace. We'll keep him at the club, but he needs replacing on that right-hand side. So these two positions are key at the moment. Midfield, I'm pretty happy with at the moment. Jalapeno, Pandolfi and Perrier, all very, very good players. I'd like to get someone else in there who's as good as Pandolfi and Perrier, just to try and solidify a little bit more, just to give us a few more options in the midfield. We're going to need it next season with the Euro Cup. But other than that, midfield I'm very happy with. Happy with Coyle and CDM, of course. He's an absolute diamond. I love him to bits. He's always going to play. Centre-backs, very happy with those two. Kobayashi coming through. Ruben Garcia is probably going to go if we can try and get money for him. If not, he'll stay as backup once again, but you know, that's something we have to think about really. On the right hand side, of course, Peter Johnson's only on loan, so we have to look for a right back, of course, because Jan Balla is not cut out, so we need a good right back coming in over summer. Masovic has declined a little bit. He's sort of capped off his current ability and potential ability. He was like 5-star potential, 4-star current ability, but he has dropped down a fair bit, bless him. So he could be a candidate for being replaced, but only, you know, if we have money left at the end of it. I'm not going to worry with a left back at the moment. We've got other positions, right back and the attacking midfield, that we need to worry about more. And then, of course, Nicky Reynolds in goal is always improving, always getting good. He's had a really good season this year, actually. I've been very, very impressed with him. Conceded 53 goals once again, actually, for the second season in a row, but played 2 more games this year, so technically he has done slightly better. So he's a good goalkeeper. He will improve. He's in the England setup as well, so he's only going to get better and better. If someone better comes about and, you know, we can get on a cheap deal, then I'm happy to bring him in. But Nicky Reynolds, I think, is probably good enough to keep his first team place, I think. So yeah, that's it basically, I think. The areas that we need to strengthen are the attacking midfield on the right and the middle, and probably on the right back as well. So that right hand side needs to be strengthened quite a bit. The attacking midfield needs to be strengthened, and then anywhere else we can sort of get players in as rotation and a bit more options. That'll be good as well. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for summer and things like that. Thank you very much for watching this season of the Lincoln Loco. We'll be back next time for the next season and the next chapter, and of course the Europa League as well. That's going to be fantastic. I'm so looking forward to that. I'm going to start playing right now and just try and get through it all. If you enjoyed today's episode, then make sure you do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.